Happy Thursday, Flosstube. Hello, crafty friends. It is Thursday, June the 4th. My name's Caroline, and I'm back today for another daily craft chat update. Just a really quick thank you at the beginning here, just to say thank you for yesterday, for keeping it kind and pretty great, pretty wonderful in the comment section yesterday. Much appreciated. Thank you. Okay, so I was too excited yesterday when I started looking at this. I couldn't resist. I had to finish it. I had to start to finish. I had to make myself a project bag. And as you can see from the clips that I put in at the beginning, as I went, I thought, I actually have a project that needs a strangely sized bag, and wouldn't that be perfect? And I think it was. So, ta-da! I made a project bag. So this turned out to be approximately, it's about 18.5 square. And I've got a 16-inch square frame inside of it. So, oh, one more look. Isn't it pretty? So again, I don't know the stitcher that stitched it. This was a piece that was rescued from a thrift shop in Sarnia, Ontario by my friend Dawn of the Codependent Knitters, and I turned it into a project bag. So save the stitches. So there's a stitcher out there, and I have no idea who stitched it, but her or his work is going to be appreciated for a few more years yet to come. And I'm thrilled with it. I'm really pleased with how it turned out. So just a few details on the bag itself. I'm hoping I have enough video to kind of put in some clips at the beginning of the process, but one thing I added in was I had top stitched around the blue fabric, and then I came back in and I did a border of top stitching around the pink as well, just for an extra little bit of frame detail. I think you can see that there. And yes, I know I had mentioned yesterday that I had a couple of spots in the stitching, the thread bled just a little bit. So there's a little bit of bleeding up in here, and then a little bit of bleed down in here. Someone in the comments yesterday had mentioned trying Clorox 2 and that they had had great success with that. So I'm just mentioning that in case there are those of you out there who would like to try it. I've never seen Clorox 2 here. Do they sell that in Canada? I'm assuming they do. I never usually buy bleach, so I'm never usually in that kind of section at the grocery store. And in fact, I haven't been inside a grocery store since the beginning of March. My husband does all of the shopping, and it would require me to ask him to go and look for something that he's not familiar with. So that's not gonna happen anytime soon. And really, I don't know, to me, now there's a bit of a story, and I just wanted to get it done. And since it's just gonna be a project bag, look, I'm touching it, you know, I'm gonna love it up and touch it. And so that's just a little bit part of the story for me. So I don't really mind that. But I know that would bother many of you out there. So just that tip about the Clorox 2, if you can find it, if that would be helpful for you. I love it. Love it. So I just kept the back, the blue leaf print, and gave it a pink zip. And the project that's inside it is my Seasons canvas work. And I've never had a project bag for this, so now I can keep it protected, which is thrilling. It's this project here, which I love. So now that it has a proper project bag that I can keep everything inside and protected, now I can take it up north with me when I finally get up there this summer. So, and it fits perfectly. So, fits perfectly in there. You can see I haven't done any more on this project since the last time I showed it to you, but that's okay. That's all right. It fits, look, and now it's gonna be protected in my beautiful new bag. I love it. So, pattern and all of my threads. This is one of the very first drawstring bags that I ever made. I've shown this to you before. And I have all of my threads for this project are in here. And so that will get stuffed in there too. I wanted to show you the bag without it first, because with it in it, of course, it kind of pooches out in the center. But I love it. So I highly recommend giving it a go. What have you got to lose? You know, if you've got a piece of stitching that is not overly precious, or, you know, that you don't mind it, thinking about it, you know, being an heirloom, something like that, you know, maybe give it a go. You never know what you might be able to do. And, you know, even hand sewing, you can sew these by hand. It would take a lot longer, but you don't need a sewing machine to put something together. Now, granted, it does make it a lot easier and a lot faster, but you know, turning something into a pillowcase, you know, for a, like a little pillow form, something like that. Those are quite simple to do by hand. Oh, I'm over the moon with this finish. It's an FFO, and I didn't even do the stitching. So now I'm going to pull out my roll of finishes and think about what else needs to be finished into a bag. But that just was, it was just the perfect thing. That project really needed a bag. So finally now it has some protection. Okay, last night I worked on Savon a fair bit. I posted over on the Facebook group, but I'm gonna save that to share until Saturday because I'm hoping to have a fair bit more progress on that piece by Saturday. And so I'll just save it because every night, if I put in 2 or 3 threads, or even 4 or 5, it doesn't seem a lot different. So if I show it to you on Saturday, maybe it will seem like there's a fair bit more progress. I also worked on my Glendon Place Hope and Strength piece. I said yesterday I would show you today. So there you can see I've finished the 3 words "you need is." That was the stitching that I did since the last time I shared this piece. And of course I just need the word "all," which I'm going to finish tonight. And then I'm really excited to start the border. I might start over here above I'm going to start over here above the lion. And the border uses, oh, what's the name of it? It is one of my favorite dinky dyes. I want to say it's Ocean Grove. It's the one that I'm using in my Twisted Band sampler, Northern Expressions Needleworks, that has all of the variegation of teals and purples, and it's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's one of my favorite threads. And that is in the inner part of the border and also the outer part of the border. And so I think I might get started with that part of it tonight. And then maybe a few more words because they really are satisfyingly quick. I had to stitch that Y twice, and that was my own fault because when Cheryl sent me the pattern, she hadn't worked through a few of the corrections first, and she had emailed me and said, by the way, watch out for the Y, you need to move it over a space. And I forgot because I was in the zone and I was stitching away listening to an audiobook last night, and I completely forgot. And after I had stitched "you need," I looked back and I thought, oh dear, oops, I think I was supposed to move that. So I ripped out the Y. I did a little fix on, because all the entire word was one length of floss, so I had to clip it, and then I fixed it by pulling the ends back through the back of the O and then restitched it. I restitched it right away so that it wouldn't languish unfinished. Oh, one more thing about this, and it's not about the project, though I should finish that. This is by Glendon Place, and it is a free PDF download from glendonplace.net. Okay, I had a question, I want to say it was last week, and I cannot remember who asked. I know it was someone who comments frequently and is a name that when it pops up, I think, oh, hello. Do you ever do that? You know, when you see people's names over and over again, and you do start to feel, I do start to feel like I get to know you through the comments. And so when your names come up over and over and over again, it's comforting. It's nice. So I know, and I'm terrible at leaving comments. So this isn't a please leave me a comment or else. It's a I recognize those of you who do, you know, leave comments frequently. It's appreciated. I should work on that myself, leaving comments on the videos that I watch. I should do a better job. Anyways, I want to say that it was an Anne. There are a few Annes who leave me regular lovely comments, and so I apologize that I'm not exactly sure which Anne, and even if I'm correct that it is an Anne, had a question last week about how I attach the fabric onto the scroll rods. So I said that I would show you quickly this week. It's really, really simple, really, really easy. And in fact, I don't take that much care. I probably should take more care, but the way that I do it is I put my fabric so that the back is flush with, do you know what I mean? So that I stitch in the ditch or in the well, as you will, I guess. So what that means is when I roll up my fabric, the inside of the fabric is the stitching. And the part that's being rolled up, that I'm holding on to, is the back side of the fabric, okay? So I make sure that my fabric is on the correct side of the fabric. It's twill tape or some kind of, what is that? It's a heavy duty canvas webbing fabric. The different rod makers use different material, but it's usually quite substantial and thick and heavy duty. So I use I think it's a number 10, like a crochet cotton, something like that. You could also use a you know, very thin pearl cotton as well. Something that's a little more substantial than, though I've used DMC in a pinch as well. A couple strands of DMC floss, just thread a needle. Make sure I don't usually use a tapestry needle because you need a sharp needle because this is quite thick and you'll save your fingers if you use a really sharp sewing needle. Then I pin the fabric in place a couple of spots across the row. Just pin it in place because that's going to make your life so much easier. And then I just baste it in place. You can see my terribly uneven stitches there. And I just sew it in place and double knot at the beginning and the end on the webbing fabric, and that's it. If my rods are longer than my fabric, I simply measure the number of inches that I'm starting in. So if my fabric started here, I would measure how many inches this is in so that I could measure the same distance on the second rod so that I started sewing my fabric in the same place on the second side. So pin it in place, put a few pins in it, get it where you want it to be, make sure it's as straight as you can possibly make it, and then just baste it in place. And that's it. That is it. It's quite simple. I have used my sewing machine before to baste it on, and I tell you, I probably would never do that again. That was a mistake for me because it was really difficult to, I don't know what I did. Oh, I know what I did. I had my stitch length set far too thin because I'd moved the needle over and it had taken a weird thing and I hadn't checked it, and so it had a really short stitch length and I didn't notice, and it was really long. It was the corners and curves piece and it was super long, and then when I wanted to take it off because it was crooked, it was almost impossible because the stitch length was so short and the canvas webbing was so thick. The stitches had buried themselves down into the canvas. Yeah, so I just baste it. It's easier, just a lot easier. Okay, so that's my Glendon Place. I only have one other thing stitching wise to share with you today. And remember the needle minder that I showed you yesterday, my Grey's Anatomy Derek Shepherd McDreamy. I also have McSteamy. Thankfully, someone left me a comment and reminded me of the right person who sells these on Facebook. Her name is Lisa Simmons and the name of her business is No More Lost Needles. She is in the UK, but way back when I purchased these, I remembered that it was very reasonable all the way to Canada. So Lisa Simmons, and the name of her business is No More Lost Needles. And yeah, they're a good needle minder. I like them. They're just button style, very simple, good magnet. That's it. So my plan over the next couple of days, plans are made to you know, just have a general idea of what I'm going to do. I would like to try and finish my Little House Needleworks sheep, the warm winter woolens. I'd really like to try and finish that because I'd like to have that done, turn it into a project bag, and then I would have those scroll rods free because I think my Emily's house will fit on the scroll rods. That would be freed up by finishing the Little House Needleworks piece, and I'm not taking it off until it's done because it's such a quick stitch. I know I could finish it. I just have to get after it and get it done. So, and that's it. I am going to have a very small shop update tomorrow. Very, very small. I will, because I was putting this bag together, I sort of, you know, was rummaging through the boxes of my entire business was packed up when I was getting ready to leave, and the thought of unpacking it and reorganizing everything here and then repacking it and having to do the same thing again, because I figured that I would have a date by now. I still don't have a surgery date, which is totally fine. That just means that I just have to wait a little bit longer. It's all good, it's fine. But I can't not work, so I had to pull out some of my stuff. I've reorganized in a small manner that I think will be fairly quick to repack. And so I've managed to pull together some of the bags that I had partially finished when I was packing everything up. So I will have some of the pink snail Tula pink fabric wedge totes, the Ode to a Slow, well, these ones will be Ode to a Slow knitter / cross stitcher, because both crafter styles can use those bags. But I'll only have 3, and they will have a different notions pouch than I normally put with that print. I've got another, actually, is it still up there? No, I packed it. It's a super pretty teal and pink, like corally pink. Anyways, you'll see it, there'll be a picture. There's only gonna be 3 sets. More coming when I eventually move. And then I have that newsprint, the old-fashioned newsprint. I also will have 3 of the newsprint medium flat bags. Now I can show you, I've got these half complete. So this is the print. These are being sold as one of a kind because all of the panels are slightly different. They're so fun. This one I think has the Mad Hat. Yeah, I've got 2 that are like this, but I'm still listing them separately because, you know, the placement is different and they will look quite unique once they're finished, and the notions pouches that come with them are also unique. And so in order that you know you're getting the one that you see on the shop, you will be, the one that you actually purchase will be the one that you get. This is that Tula pink fabric. So that will be turned into a wedge tote, and it has a side strap as well. The straps are all made. I just have to finish putting these together. So I will be doing that tomorrow morning. Here's the rest of got all of these pieces here. This newsprint fabric is so fun. It's so pretty, and it's just, I love it. I think it makes a really cool bag. So I only have 3 of those, but again, they have a notions pouch, and I will have some more of those as we go. The thing with the shop is I didn't want to get into a situation where I had so much work to do and then the hospital calls and says, you need to come in tomorrow. And then I'd be like, oh. I would be sweating buckets because I hate that feeling. I don't like being behind. I like to have the work cut up and out in as much of a timely manner as I possibly can. So that's why I'm just keeping it super small. So 1 p.m. tomorrow, that's Eastern Standard Time, on www.evertote.com, there will be a few bags available. Everything that is in the shop will be ready to be shipped, and I will ship Tuesday of next week. that makes it easier for me to have Sarah help me with all of the packaging on Monday, and that way I can batch all the orders together to send in one box via FedEx to the shipper. And that's it. So 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow, Friday. June 5th already, June 5th. Right, okay. So I'm going to wrap it up today because I've got some editing to do. I've got some photos to share with you at the end. And thank you. Thank you again. Thanks for being there. Thanks for listening. And I hope that you find some time tonight for yourself just to relax, take a breath, and do something just for yourself that brings you joy. Happy stitching, everybody. I'll see you tomorrow. I will have a designer to share with you tomorrow. Focus on a designer for Friday. Okay, bye everybody. Happy stitching.